Here is the URL to access the online version of yWorks Neo4j Explorer. We have a local Neo4j database running, and so we connect to the database. First, we automatically get the database schema, and to extract information for display, we have two options: a graphic interface to select nodes by labels and property values, One feature I really love in this visualization tool is the template that you can create, not only to display any property value, but also to associate nodes properties to graphical representation. You can set the node background color according to a property, which means you can use all the power of Cypher to set the property in a very precise way that will be used for the background color of the node. You can optionally display a border or an icon according to a node property. Here, for example, the border only shows for nodes that have a highlight property set. And the black ribbon that indicates a person is deceased only shows if the death icon property is set. You can also display alternate icons according to the property value. For example, the gender icon contains the SVG code for the appropriate icon. I find it really great that in this way you can easily visually represent some categories that structure your data. Bloom has some of this, but you depend on the graphical interface to set size and color values. You cannot just use the value of the property. Unfortunately, in yWorks Neo4j Explorer, it is currently not possible to have relation templates. We will see a workaround to this in a moment. The second way you can extract information from the database is a Cypher query, which means you can do very fine-tuned pattern matching on nodes, labels, relations, and properties to precisely select what you want. For example, you can select a branch of your family tree by first marking a branch property for the nodes of someone's ascendant and descendant. That is, you match a person's node and set a branch property to true for all nodes related to it by any number of mother or father relations. In order to visualize the selected nodes with the template in yWorks Explorer, a fill property is set. Now in Explorer, we can use a query that matches all nodes that have this branch property set. So here are all of Jean's ascendants. The display is not optimal because the spoof relationship confuses the algorithm. It will be much better if you hide this type of relation. To update the display, you need to re-extract the nodes. Let's now set the property to add the descendant of all these people. Now here you can see descendants in green. Then we can add spouses, spouses' children, and spouses' parents. The color set to the fill property helps visually keep track of how people have been added to the selection. You can also use the fill property to have a color per family. The limits between families is a subjective choice. In part of the family where you personally know people, you may want a finer granularity for family groups. But no matter your choice, with a Cypher query to set the property, you can display exactly what you want. With these colors, I can easily orientate myself in a large graph display by identifying family groups that are meaningful to me. Here are 4 unrelated nodes, which probably means I should get back to the data collected in the brain and check things out. There probably is a manual input error, a missing link, or a link type. This is one thing visualization are good for. Even with this many nodes, defaults will immediately stand out visually. For now, let's just delete these nodes. You have different possible layouts, but this Explorer cannot turn the tree top to bottom. For this, you need yWorks online editor that you can open from this menu. Here you can change the layout with many different options. This editor allows to do something I miss a lot in Bloom, and that is to manually adjust nodes' position. Here, the colors immediately show that having these people so far apart does not make much sense, so you can move them to where it makes a more readable graph. It does take time, but you can get the exact display you want without starting from scratch, since the layout algorithm does some of the job for you. You have several graphical output formats. Note that for PDFs, export images need to be inline with URLs. There is a cross-origin issue. Visualizations can also be saved as a GraphML file. And the good news is GraphML is XML, so you can use XML tools to automatically adjust whatever you want to automate. With some Python beautiful soup, you can, for example, suppress those link in, link out display that do not make sense in this case. This is also how you can automatically color some relations according to property set with some Cypher queries. Here is, for example, how to show common ancestors of people with the same last name.